But to catch you up from where we left off, you are currently in the hideout of the Anastasia Everlark, of the cherished Weald, who had discovered this dryad who had been tortured and beaten up and cut and hurt and all sorts. And you have come through the door and you have seen this dryad. And Dreadbark, you felt through the spirit song their mood, which was kind of mostly angry and annoyed at themselves for getting themselves in this situation.
Yes.
Yes.
But we haven't yet engaged said dryad in conversation.
9.
Just 9.
9 conversation. Wow.
Blackadder didn't take 2 minutes.
I think it's every session at this point.
Okay,
It's Olly's fault for always saying 9, to be fair. None of us are German. Like,
Is that what
she is
9?
She is a dish as well, isn't she, as I remember? Yeah.
No, I don't recognise her sexuality on my own.
She's a dish. That's what you just said.
Yeah. Got a problem?
Slightly.
A few.
Okay, I admire you for being honest that you do have a problem.
You should have said snack.
You're an absolute dish, Dreadbark. God damn.
Don't like she's
Thanks.
a snack.
I prefer snack, but it's okay.
Absolute meal.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think Dreadbark is Dreadbark. If anything, Dreadbark is if anything like an eating challenge.
Mhm.
Like you finish it, you get your name on the wall, and like a bottle of hot sauce.
You mean Man v Food?
Mm.
Man v Dreadbark.
Man versus tree. Okay,
Alright.
shall we talk to the sad injured tree man then?
Talk to the tree. Talk to the tree.
Okay, Dreadbark then will, unless anybody else wishes to go and be the tree talker.
No, this is all you, baby.
Yeah.
Dreadbark will kind of take a few steps towards the dryad, but stay like a few steps away, like not to be too kind of threatening. And maybe kind of kneel down because this dryad is recumbent, correct?
Yes.
He will, I guess, take a knee in that case,
Oh.
and
Virtue signal.
kind of, and will literally signal virtue through the spirit song, just kind of like send some to the dryad, sort of signaling, we mean no harm. We've agreed. We've come to help you. And then say, sibling, I am Ardanadoc Dreadbark, sent here on the orders of the Everqueen herself. How did you come to be in this sorry condition?
It looks up to you through its scarred and cut face. And it says, myself and 2 others captured in the Gulmane. 3 humans. Dew-brained fools caught us in nets, binded us, blindfolded us, took us away. Don't know why it's my Skaven voice. I need to change. Dryads are a bit Skaven-y. They're like little angry things.
They're not pleasant.
No.
Did you learn anything of your captors? Who were they?
I do not know. I cannot differentiate between the humans and the Dwarden. I was kept, and I was injured, tortured. I don't know where I was.
Far or near from here?
Not far, I think. I could just hear the noise of bovine creatures.
I see. Just quickly reading up and down the list of places for the words like cow and farm.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to livestock in Greywater Fastness, it's like on the Guess Who board.
They tortured you. Did you... What did they wish to know? Or were they merely exacting their racial hatred?
He says, some days thrown into a pit in dark underground, forced to fight ratmen. Mottled Leaf enjoyed this, mostly, but only for a short time. Afterwards, they left me for many weeks. Then some voices came. I heard them say that I was suitable. Then I was moved again.
Suitable. You heard nothing else to suggest what they wanted from you?
Well, shortly after that, a Duardin came to visit. Sore off my leg. He laughed, but he does not know that you cannot chain nature forever.
Yeah, I guess
Just sort of shifts from foot to foot.
Just check my notes.
This is a gun, not a knife.
Like throughout when the Dryad has said like the more kind of unpleasant parts of the story, like Dreadbark would kind of go, just instinctively be like kind of animalistic, angry face reactions. Repulsive. What there must be some kind of fell intentions that they wish for from parts of Sylvaneth. I cannot bear to think. But you are safe now. My comrades and I will take you safely from the city. You should be able to return to your grove from there.
This would be most helpful. I would wish to recover to my full strength and take revenge on those that harmed me.
Have your limbs begun regrowth?
Not without the nurturing of the soul pods, the soul grove, as you will know as a fellow Silverdeath.
I was just testing.
You passed.
Very well. How soon can you be ready to travel? One of us can... Well, not one of us. I can carry you.
It says, Mottled Leaf is ready to go. I cannot walk alone.
Well, then you should support Liverpool Football Club, and then you will never walk alone.
Oh my god.
Oh, deep cut.
Just one of the ancient scrolls I read from the old world. Anyway, very well. My comrades and I will prepare ourselves, and then we shall be on our way. Anything else you can remember about your captors and your ordeal, please share it with us. We will do our best to avenge this evil that has been done upon you.
Evil.
And then Dreadbark will send another sort of reassuring through the spirit song, and then kind of withdraw and relay all of this to his compatriots.
Cool.
This Sylvaneth was tortured, forced to fight Skaven in fighting pits, not unlike the ones we have seen, I think. And then his legs were cut off and removed. Some further experiments are afoot, I think, but for now, if you are still willing, we should prepare to ferry him from the city. What say you, fellows?
No.
Actually, I'm quite busy now. I've found a really good recipe for aubergine casserole. So
With
That's not
Urgold
meant to be me,
shavings.
is it? You wouldn't put Urgold in the food.
You would. Fancy restaurants do gold
I
leaf.
you'd sew it into your skin for extra 2+ damage.
Gold burger.
All right, you won me over. Fine, Urgold burger it is.
This
I don't think
£1,000
you
You'll do
Urgold
the,
burger.
if you'll do the carrying, then suppose I don't mind a little walk.
thank you.
Yes, I know. Yeah, from last time as well, you all spotted that those two shifty-looking blokes as well outside.
Mm-hmm.
They look like grey caps, undercover grey caps. So, to come up with a plan to get the Dryad out of the city, he will take that into account.
Yeah, I think Dreadbark might ask the party to perhaps one of you could investigate those watchmen outside of the sanctuary. I think that they will not take kindly to us marching straight out with this Dryad.
No, I don't
Perhaps
mind
they
doing
could be
that.
distracted.
They look like they're trying to steal the recipe for Urgold burgers as well, so I might talk about that while they're at it.
I suppose I'll go make sure that Sichuan doesn't get into any unfortunate and unprofitable disagreements.
Thank you, comrades. While you are out, I will discuss with Anastasia Everlark our best route out of the city.
Yeah, bet you will.
Could you ask her
Off
why
screen.
everyone named Anastasia is always really attractive?
Well, certainly in this case. And you see like his wooden eyebrows just go like
Thirsty Dreadbark.
Yep. Hey man, he's probably not got any for about 200 years.
Also, a tree, it's kind of that thing is
You got some seeds on you earlier.
moisture. Ooh.
Yeah. Sylvaneth sexuality. I mean, everything's sexless for a start. Like, I don't know if we've encountered any indication that there is sex in this world. As yet. You know, who knows?
Well, we've all been born, so that does imply
Hey,
some
man, I was
carnal goings on.
That's true. Dreadbark was grown in a pod.
Yeah, are dwarves in this world? like-
Asexual
from,
reproduction, bitches.
Dwarves what?
Isn't there one mythology where dwarves are like, I don't know, grown from the earth and are plucked out as babies? That's a thing, right? In some
What?
That's what Gimli says is the joke that people say about dwarves.
Ah, I bought into stereotype.
Leads
news.
some people to say there are no dwarf women.
Yeah,
Which of course is preposterous.
but not in this film.
They've
Oh,
got beards as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Dwarf women.
Yeah.
And
Bigger
they're
beards,
awesome.
right?
Well, I mean,
Bigger
the one
beards.
we've seen on TV is awesome anyway.
Bigger beards than the male counterparts.
Yeah. They were made out of stone when they were created by Olly. Not to come across as like a Stephen Colbert, but yeah.
What are you
mean-
talking about?
I think you just
Gotta-
do, I'm afraid.
gotta-
You
gotta-
don't think you can,
You got to
you can
reference the
avoid
sun really when you can.
Mm.
Do ya? Do ya?
Do you?
Do you?
Right, so you've made a plan, kind of. You're going to talk to the guards, Vargi and Sichuan.
Yes.
I'll follow along with Vargi and Sichuan.
Okay. Is
Sichuan?
this like a distraction maneuver, or is this?
I summon a boat. Wait.
Volcano time.
Campaign.
Distraction volcano.
Distraction volcano.
It's hard to contextualize the volcano.
Isn't it always? Isn't it always?
Alright. We cut to scene house outside.
Pretty cool connections, mate.
Who's
Is Olly
leading?
choppy for everyone else, or is it just me?
No, just you, I think.
Cool. I'm gonna plug in 1 second.
Yes.
Bear with me.
Right, go on, Vargi. I think Sichuan's got some tech issues.
I was waiting on Szechuan taking the lead on whatever he wanted to do. However, given that Szechuan is indisposed, where exactly are the guards? The grey caps, suspected grey caps, spy.
They're a bit further down the street, so
Yeah.
loitering around, probably 10 meters away or something.
Yeah, I think Vargi would like to do a little bit more specific scoping. Have a little casual jaunt down, try some sunglasses on, look in the mirror behind him, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And just try and get a better look at him. See what it looks like they're looking for. You know what I mean? Like trying to gauge these great chaps.
Sounds like an awareness roll. Sorry,
It seems like it.
insight roll.
Oh, rather you didn't, but okay. Intuition, you mean?
Yes,
Yes.
maybe.
I don't know.
We'll go with that. It could of course be no, it can't be guile. Guile doesn't work anymore. It's just very easy to mix up guile. DM, please, sir.
Just a 4.
Well, that's what I've rolled.
Well, I think
Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
they are definitely 2 humans.
Oh, don't worry. No, you could have. Oh.
One's big and burly, and the other one's pretty average looking. And as soon as you come out of the house, they seem very interested in you, and they look inconspicuous. But it's the middle of the night. It's quite hard for them to do that. They're not too scared of you. Yeah.
Is there a little alley or something nearby?
I think they're on like the corner of a crossroads, maybe at the end of the block.
So Vargi is just thinking like maybe he wants to look shifty and go and wander off down somewhere. He'll do some actively shifty looking behind him around, like maybe conceal something in his. He's not wearing any robes, so I don't really know how he's going to do that. But a bit of that.
Okay.
And make some furtive glances around in the most obvious way possible. Yeah, and just see what happens. And he'll then hope that his pals are keeping an eye on what's happening.
Yeah, I think they just watch. They don't.
Yeah. Okay.
You think that they may be just there to observe and report back, not to
That's fine.
engage.
That's one of the 2 things you could have learned from that.
Yes.
Well, Vargi's now walked round a corner, so it's probably over to one of the other 2, and Vargi will just be peering around to see what's what.
Yeah. And Sichuan's kind of just gone. He's just gone into complete trance.
Kind of gone. I guess it's up to Klaus then.
It's up to Klaus.
It's all up to Klaus.
I mean, yeah, goddamn.
I think one of them says to the other one, "You know what I'd like to try once in my life? It's being turned completely to gold. Only for a second." Nothing's going on, is there, really?
Wait, is someone wanting me to turn them to gold?
You can give it a shot.
Did I hear someone wants to witness a bit of a magic trick? Do you want to see a magic trick? Anyone?
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 It's a good one.
I'm not gonna say yes to that.
Kahzahl, you outside as well?
Yeah, I went with Sichuan and Vargi.
Yeah.
So what? Try and turn someone to gold?
Can you do it on both or just one?
Well, would I have the? I can use the metal to do it twice, or is that only in combat?
No, you can use metal on any test.
Well, I can try. One.
Mhm.
I don't know to what end.
Do it.
You do it with the focus.
Yeah.
So, fortitude test. Ooh, here it goes. They got a fortitude. They might do actually, because I did this. I know they don't. What's fortitude? Is it soul?
Body.
Body. What? So I've got to beat 2 successes.
Before this actually happens, this is just for 6 seconds per success, right?
Yeah.
Was that going to be? No?
We don't really know if it's going to be enough to do what.
Well, you could keep casting it every 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's fair. No, you're right. Yeah.
Sprinkle gold on them.
Mm.
Well. Oh wait, you only did one roll. But they both fail.
It finally happened.
They've turned to shiny gold.
Hell yeah. I don't think that was. It's only for one of them, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's only for one of them. So the one who said he really wanted to be turned to gold turns to gold. And then the other one's like, oh, I
Go on,
really
fella.
wish to be a millionaire.
Go on, fella, don't want to join in as well. You're feeling left out.
And then he turns to gold as well. And then quick, in the 6 seconds of time, Dreadbark, what are you doing?
No, he's just chatting up the lady.
Go on, how's the escape planning going?
Oh well, I mean, how is it going? Dreadbark was just basically asking Anastasia if she has, excuse me, any suggestions for the subtlest way to get the Dryad from here to outside the city, while avoiding as much grey cat attention as possible.
Yeah. She says, well, I think perhaps going through the patch in the roof, going along the rooftops until you reach the gates and the walls. Bribing the guards has been known to work for those who need to get out in and out of the city. Or perhaps you know of another way to get into the city undetected.
Perhaps. Dangerous, though.
Kahzahl, you know as well, potentially of some criminal groups who have been known to smuggle things and sometimes people in and out of Greywater who would do this, but the price would be steep. And not just in cash. Drops.
I mean, I guess it's worth a shot, right? It's better than having the old plan, I guess. Guys?
Yeah, and I think you spent a lot of your money. Did you already?
Me? I mean, I don't have a lot.
Oh, that was before.
Yeah.
You
I
How
feel
much
like
we spend? We don't get paid for anything.
You get paid
How
in bits. Cogs.
do we have an idea of like how steep we're talking? I mean, if I know these people, what do I know about, how they go about doing their business?
I think roll me. I don't know, what would be like I know about the street things. What role would that be? Survival? No, maybe.
Guile, maybe?
No, not guile.
No, not really.
Be a knowledge check of some sort. Well, I think without rolling, I would say you would expect it to be probably at least 200 drops, or you would have to do something for them in return, which could potentially be uncomfortable.
All right, so then sharing this knowledge, Dreadbark, how badly do you want to get this guy out of here?
How highly do you value the life of innocent mortal lives?
I'm the one asking you.
I think we are strong enough to protect this person through to the tunnel through which we entered the city. That seems to be the most expedient method. However, to ensure their survival, we would probably need to brave the tunnel again. I will do that, but I cannot force anyone else to.
Why not? Sure, let's go. It'll be fun at least.
So there's one snag in that problem, is that the pipe you came into had to be turned off for you to get into it by the Grey Caps during the siege. So you would have to convince them to do so again. Perhaps your contact, Corporal Steele, will...
Interesting.
Yeah, that seems to be the only option.
We will need to weigh up whether that holds more risk than does bribing the guards as a whole, or worse still, consorting with the gangers. Perhaps Klaus and Vargi and Sichuan will have opinions on the best course of action when they return from turning the street corner policemen into strange metal statues.
Vargi's still just round the corner, like.
We have determined it's just regular gold, not gold, that Klaus is all about, right?
Yes, we
All
have.
right. I can never remember.
I never
It'd
remember
be so-
whether it's just normal gold or whether it's the incredibly rare special magic gold that I'm looking for.
It would just be very
I
good
don't
party
know.
synergy. It'd
I
be
know,
very
it
good
just
party
seems like
synergy.
you
if
might
it
forget
was.
this information on purpose.
I think I'm just always mindlessly optimistic every session,
Yeah.
and it just blows the information out of my head.
And we love you for it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Also, by the time the spell runs out and you put it in your skin and it turns back into a hand.
God.
Oh God.
I hadn't even thought of that. Ugh. Oh. Hate it.
Right.
Right, so basically we have to make a choice between either potentially having to do something uncomfortable or risking trying to go through the entire thing ourselves.
Just wanted to check what I'm missing, if I didn't miss something earlier. Do we know? Do we gather why the city guards appear to be after the Treebeard?
After, well, you don't know why.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if I missed that, because all I was just like, huh. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
You don't know why, but like obviously, finding a lone Sylvaneth dryad in the city would raise a lot of questions. And they probably want to keep them and stuff and interrogate them.
That's fine. I just thought I might have gone mad and just missed some critical piece of information. At this point, Vargi just starts sauntering on back towards the entrance, as nothing's really happened. He probably didn't even see the chaps getting turned to gold. It's clear they've not followed him, so he just wanders back like nothing ever happened, because it didn't. So guys, how's the escape going?
Dreadbark relays the conversation that Kahzahl and he have been having about the options.
Oh, great. I wonder if we might be able to get some help from some dwarves. I do know a certain, forgotten his name, who might owe us a favour.
You mean the one that we saved?
Yeah, I wrote it down
that's
somewhere.
interesting. I didn't think of that.
The guild master chap.
Coldrock.
Gulben Coldrock.
Yeah.
The guild master. Do you think he'd help us in this case?
Well, we might be able to strike up a deal that works for everybody. Especially with some of the mitigating circumstances, which I'll be certain to apply to any negotiations. And as you know, of course, the Dwarven is always as good as his word, as long as that word is written down.
Well, it does seem to be the safest option that we have.
Based on what we heard from Gulben, what's his face, Dreadbark trusts him about as far as he can throw him. But equally, he is keen to keep the team on side doing this mission that is not emotionally
throw
connected
him
to any other.
further than you think.
Also, Dreadbark.
Yeah, that's true.
Dreadbark, if you have a existing negative opinion of Gulben Coldrock, I think the coincidence that you learn that he was testing weapons on Skaven in his spare time,
That was why.
and you
yeah, that was why.
discovered a heavily injured and tortured dryad just happened to be in the middle of the city. I think you were heavily suspicious of, even more so, of like these Ironweld chaps. Maybe not so much the Grey Caps, because they're just the soldiers doing their job and guarding the city and stuff, but
If I had to pick, I don't think that this is worth risking everyone's life for. So I'd say we go through my contacts. Personal opinion. What happens then? We'll deal with it then.
I actually hadn't completely thought through that, and yes, Dreadbark definitely would have lodged the suspicion that Gulben is unlikely to be unaware of what's happened to this dryad, and similarly unlikely to wish to help smuggle it out of the city. There are a few friends of Sylvaneth in this place, but if we're looking for a friend to help us evacuate this poor tortured victim, a person that is likely to be a part of the system that tortured them is unlikely to be the person we should speak to. I say we speak to Steelwater. If we must speak to Gulben about this, I will be between him and Mottled Leaf at all times. And I will strike him down if he threatens them.
Oh, no, whoa, now, let's not be hasty. I go threatening. Why, you all Dwarden are the same. Oh, great.
Oh, no.
Oh no. So you want to reach out to Corporal Steelwater then?
I guess.
The consensus?
Not in favor, but yes.
Sure.
That is as close as Daryl actually ever gets to saying the word yes.
Not in favor, but yes. Alright. I think it's easy enough for you to get a message to Corporal Steelwater. You would have been able to know how to do that. She's your contact in the city. And you request for the outfill pipe to be switched off this evening. Do you say why?
Fatberg.
Look at the size of this.
As part of our investigation in the city, we have a source that needs protecting, and they're currently under threat, and they need to be exfiltrated as soon as possible.
Well said.
Okay, I think the message is relayed back that against her better judgment she will do this, as she knows that you have, if you wouldn't ask if you didn't have a proper reason, and says it will be shut off at the 11th chime of the giant steampunk gong.
Bing.
So you just got to keep those guys gold for another half an hour. And then we'll be good.
Can I channel it?
If the spell affects the same target continuously for 1 minute, the transformation becomes permanent.
Oh shit!
I
It is permanent.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear.
Now that is interesting and potentially profitable.
Does anyone know how to make plaques? Because you could make a plaque that just like makes it like a memorial statue to brave guardsman Philip and Tom of the Grey Caps.
I'm sure the Duardin can hammer one out in stone, and that can be turned to gold.
So we're killing these two people, basically.
Or are we
immortalizing them?
No. We're killing
that's what I wanted to say.
No. I'm quite sure we're killing them.
I think Mikey, you're muted, I think.
Don't we, anybody.
No. We are.
Stuff as well.
Klaus is killing them.
Okay, then stop him.
What?
I think you've got a strange understanding of responsibilities here. If he's got magic fingers and he turns them to gold, it's got naff all to do with me.
Oh, listen, I've never turned a living person to gold before. I don't know if they're gonna live. They could live. They could be fine. Who knows? It's science.
Video time before.
Science, bitches.
It's important research.
so we're killing them. I'm
I
okay
want to
with
be
that.
clear
I just,
about this. I'm
No, no,
not
no.
killing anybody.
I'm just
Maybe
saying,
you're killing him.
I'm just saying, I'm okay with this. I just want you to know that you have a hand in this happening.
I don't know if I can be any clearer on this, my friend.
And I don't know if I can be any clearer about the fact that you
Well,
are
we've
essentially
reached
killing
an
them.
impasse. I'm afraid these negotiations are coming to a close.
Right, we're killing them then.
Your point is moot.
If you say we're killing him again, you'll be hearing from my representatives.
I feel like Milo's he's done some business in Glasgow recently.
I wish.
Right then, kill the guards, wait for 30 minutes. Let's go.
I just...
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
So you're channeling them to permanent gold?
Yeah.
2 lives for a life?
Yeah.
It just makes a whoop 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 noise.
Okay.
I'll let out a wallow.
That means I can take you to my other new sheet
Ooh.
That's a sheet of gold.
to
Oh.
show you how I
Stool
increase the doom by
fire?
1.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of expected, I'm not gonna lie, you know.
At the bottom of the
Hell yeah,
sheet.
more doom.
Oh, you're gonna
More
love,
doom's more fun, right?
You're gonna love doom.
Yeah, if you get to
Doom's
stay
great.
back and do your shit, not if you have to go in the middle of it all. Then it's not so fun.
When you get those enemies that get like +1 dice for every level of doom, oh yeah,
Yeah.
love that shit.
Klaus, I can't believe you turned these guys to gold.
You know what?
I
Vargi?
mean, they were kind of they wanted it.
Well, one of them did at least.
Yeah.
Oh!
Well, yeah. Didn't agree on
Something
a
you
safe
say
word.
off then,
only.
Klaus, is it?
Oh god.
Hmm.
You know, I'm starting to think maybe I need to hang out with you just a bit more.
Yeah, I think Anastasia is like completely horrified that you essentially killed a couple of grey caps
Yeah.
Well, we're just supposed to
right
distract these
outside of her house.
I mean, I did say that we were doing that over and over and over and over and over again, just to make it very clear.
Do feel it escalated very quickly.
I
That's
didn't know.
peaceful.
That
We
did
didn't-
escalate very quickly, but also Vargi had nothing to do with it.
Also, we didn't know that would happen.
Nor did Sichuan.
You did know it would happen because that's the spell effect is.
Yeah, but Klaus wouldn't know that's what the spell would do.
Oh, fair
It's a
enough.
spell.
Yeah, but he's never cast it on a person before that length of time.
It's like I've got this,
He's
got this
never
gun. I've
successfully
never shot
cast it on
someone before.
anything.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Never worked until now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, regrettably.
Either way, it happened.
Oh well. Well, so you end up covering the dryad with some robes and stuff, and Dreadbark, you help them walk to the sort of the sewer entrance that you came into the city in. I think you do need to do a stealth.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
All of us,
Given
or
how-
just oh yeah, you guys were
It's
like
going to be hard to sneak while carrying these large human-sized gold statues.
a big
Russ,
tree carrying a
We're
huge big tree.
carrying them with us.
What?
Are you actually
No.
thinking of setting them?
Of course not.
Oh, we're doing the stealth check.
Not
The
selling,
statues.
smelting.
Get it right.
Vargi, unfortunately, is not actually carrying a human-sized lump of gold, even though he's very disappointed that he's not able to profit off Klaus's murderous actions.
Of our murderous actions.
Off of Klaus's murderous actions.
You'd start writing up the sort of contract of ownership to send to Gulben immediately.
Oh, that's true. It's under the ancient Dwarven law of finders, keepers.
Yeah, the writ of ownership.
I was brought here to help you guys. Don't get me into trouble that I don't want to be in. This is fine as long as we get this point across. But take accountability, Vargi. Looks better on you.
All right,
I
Dreadbark.
just don't think it does. You know, Klaus murdered some people, and I didn't murder any people. So
I didn't murder anyone. God damn it.
No. Fine, Klaus golden manslaughtered some people.
That's better.
Well, that's a band name.
Hmm.
Klaus and the Golden Manslaughter.
Very, very slight detour, but I was looking at a game that we're looking at signing, and in which you play like as a rock band, like BoJack Horseman style art style, but it's actually really imaginative. Anyway, it's really cool. But the main thing is got a band name generator in there, and they were all really good. But the band that it generated for me was Worms of Apathy. And I was yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Smell as fuck.
It's always like cool noun of feeling.
Yeah.
Like the jesters of malice.
Oh, look at you go.
I mean, that's
Kings of
Darkness
Leon.
of jealousy.
that is a Harlequin's warband, is what that is.
It
Ah,
fucking is.
It's basically any metal band name, isn't it?
You're done. You've got it.
The Jesters of Malice.
Don't tempt me to get a boarding action. Milo won't play with me.
The
I have to
boys
play
of
with
summer.
We'll play with you.
I have to
Not
play-
until you give Kill Team.
I have to
go.
play 5 games of Kill Team for every boarding action.
I've still got a bloody Warcry warband.
I've completely lost the plot here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, Dreadbark, roll me a
got a
stealth.
big
Roll me a
Pile
stealth
of
check.
World Eaters to
I
build,
thought
so
it
I
was you guys
don't
rolling
know what you're
stuff.
complaining about.
Don't humble brag there. We know what you're doing. Oh, I've only
Hey,
got a
Alex,
whole bunch
Shut
of
up
blood.
or send me some free shit.
What's the DN, Ollie?
Oh wait, shut up and send me some free shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
It's just Dreadbark because he's helping move the Dryad.
yeah, it's moving.
Oh,
day.
I thought we were. Oh, okay.
I think you guys are all perfectly capable of being like unseen in the dark streets, but helping
Sure, I'll take it.
a legless Dryad is a bit trickier.
Dun 4, Dun 5.
Dun 4.
Woo.
Very nice. Okay, yeah. So
That is very fortunate. it's
Pretty.
not a good skill for me, but great. Hey, it's not bad. I've got 4 body. That's fine.
yeah, I don't think they can't physically beat you. So any grey caps. So that's good.
Sit.
Also not the ones with golden eyeballs.
Wait. Did we hide the bodies? Because they would know that we have Klaus with us, right? They've met him.
It'll be okay.
I don't think they've ever seen him cast a spell successfully, so.
Successfully.
Who's seen them? You mean the people who were turned to gold?
Well, yeah, I mean, people here in general, people have seen us,
Yeah,
and they've seen us in action as well.
No, I don't
Have they
think
not?
so.
No? When we saved the people from. Well, actually, I didn't think he'd used any spells then.
I don't think. You...
I think we've got time to do something about our incriminating golden statues.
Klaus is incriminating golden statues.
How are you even carrying them? Aren't they quite heavy?
We're not carrying them.
Who look just like
We
2
left
grey
them
cats who went
behind.
missing.
I want to see Vargi carry them both. One in each arm.
Trust me, Vargi wants to see that too.
I feel like I shouldn't have asked this.
Vargi-
Szechuan's pretty beefy. He could probably carry one.
Yeah, but he doesn't like that regular gold shit. It's no good.
Vargi's not.
Just sprinkle some
thrilled-
on it.
Not thrilled that a member of his party, but not himself, has murdered some people. But he is utterly devastated at walking away from a actual pile of free gold.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you can leave Dreadbark to it. You can split the party. You guys can go and carry the bodies back to that abandoned tavern that you cleared out.
However, Vargi
Tunnels.
does know that even though he played no part in the murder and is not incriminated in any way because it had nothing to do with it, if he was found with a golden leg in his backpack, he then might possibly become party to a crime, which he isn't currently.
Yeah. Think about
So
how many
he-
drops you could melt it and sell it for. How many bits you could get.
Oh,
How many cogs and cores.
oh stop.
Yeah, but how are we going to cover up the crime? They've
Yeah.
obviously got families and that, so we'll have to turn them to gold as well.
God, guys.
How much for a golden family?
This is going to turn into.
Isn't that literally the plan of Goldmember in Austin Powers 3 to turn everything to gold?
I don't know.
I don't know how that film ends.
I was thinking, Klaus, when I finally get myself my own ship, I could probably do with your help in acquiring a figurehead.
Oh, yes.
I think you've got 2 already.
No, I want it to be pretty.
Oh my.
Dreadbark looks like a pretty figurehead, doesn't he? What do you think?
Why did I?
And I
take this
thought we
job?
were becoming friends, Klaus.
Well,
Is that
it'll be like, oh yeah.
That's going to be a
You
post
can't
still can
turn
be.
Red back to gold. That's immoral. He'd much rather be a table.
You 4 are supposed to be chosen. Interesting. Okay.
I do like
Chosen man.
tables, to be fair.
So how's the sneaking going anyway?
Alright, so you successfully sneaked to the sewer tunnel, and you're leaving the golden bodies where they were.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the evidence is there.
I mean, I guess we are. It's gonna bite us in the ass, but I'm not going to abandon you guys going there. Right?
I mean, they would be exceptionally heavy.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
it. Drop a volcano and forge them in it.
Oh,
Seconded.
why does that make?
That does seem very stealthy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know that anybody would really notice that.
I feel like we could definitely do step 1, drop them in there, but I feel like in step 2 we're like, fuck, now what do we do? Anyone got any kind of like filter or anything?
Like
I
the
think,
metaphysical volcano that appears and disappears,
yeah.
I imagine would take the gold with it.
Not if we like sieved it out. Like,
No, fine. Let it take the gold with it. At least we
I
get
don't
rid
think
of the
you have
body.
Can I use my gold pan?
I don't think you have a molten lava
Okay.
sieve.
you don't know. You can't see my character sheet.
No. Forget about the gold.
Literally can.
Smelt them, get rid of them, put them in the volcano, do something, just hide them.
Distraction volcanoes always works.
Well,
I
I'd
like
imagine it's like a
Kahzahl as my
small
words.
one, right? Like
Worked great so far.
Szechuan can always stay behind to stoke the volcano and make sure the evidence is
Exactly.
gone.
It's true. I can infinitely maintain it forever and
Uses
ever. And ever.
axe to
Yeah.
stir it.
To be fair, the volcano takes up a zone. So if we go somewhere, a zone is like a porch in front of someone's house, then yeah, it could be a very small volcano.
That's a good point.
I'm all for it. That's all I'm saying.
Some of this
Okay.
stuff needs to happen, so the story can move forward.
That is how narratives work.
Fine, I'll help out. I'll help out. If you do it, I'll help out.
What, with the volcano?
But getting them in the volcano.
You can just make it underneath.
Oh yeah, I guess you can.
But I mean, if they go in the volcano, we're not getting anything back from it. Are we just trying to dispose of
That's
it?
fine. We just
Let's just get rid of the bodies at this point. We
Fine.
can turn more people to gold in the future and
Yes.
sell that.
In
A
more
volcano
convenient
is summoned of
location.
a moderate size. Quick, dispose of the evidence. Well, the volcano's been summoned, so I think you better chuck them in now before it goes away.
Okay, no, it's fine. You just tip them into this little volcano in the ground, and they go. Blub. It's more like a hole in a volcanic hole in the ground, and they
Yes,
just
a fish.
It's a puddle. It's a volcanic puddle.
yeah, and
fissure.
they just tip, head first, blub 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 blub,
Blub,
like
blub.
Gollum in Mount Doom.
Blub.
All right.
Oh. Imagine there's like a bin,
Nonsense.
like a dumpster, like right next where you can just dump the bodies. And we have to go with a complicated volcano.
I mean, it is great for body disposal, to be honest.
I mean,
why-
at least
why I
that's
chose
one.
it.
That's one where he gone now.
This would be a
So-
great D&D spell for that reason.
The only reason I chose the character.
But anyway, yes, you managed to take Dryad Chap all the way to the outflow pipe into the Ghoul Mere. What do you do with him then?
It's a really good question.
He himself says that there would be scouts looking for him, Sylvaneth scouts, in the Gulmere that he would try to find.
Is there an opportune location where we can leave you for them to find? Now that the Ratmen have broken their siege, hopefully the Gulmere will be a safer place for you to be, at least for a few hours, until our siblings can find you with the Spirit Song.
Yeah, I mean, you know from experience, and Kahzahl, you know as well, because I think your endeavour, you went scouting out into the Gulmere. You know that it's full of all sorts of dangers, not just Skaven.
Yeah.
A legless dryad probably wouldn't last very long on his own. You do know of one.
Well, I mean, we don't know where he is. Okay. Well, maybe we could try and find a sort of safe-ish haven, like a kind of ruined house or something where we can at least be unseen, and then the party could kind of like make temporary camp while Dreadbark tries to signal to Scorched Oak, whatever his name is, via the Spirit Song. That's the one. Charred you.
Smouldering pain.
Yes.
It's my new candle. Yeah, that's a sound. Yeah, you can head back to the place where you camped overnight with Chardew.
Probably a good plan.
Yeah.
Yep. How far is that though? Is that quite far out into the Mere?
It's not too far because you could see the city from there, I think.
It's true.
Maybe.
And there aren't big cannons shooting all over the place now, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll head there. If the party agrees.
But of course.
Lead the way.
Okay. So yeah, you stay there and you sort of camp and stay with Mottled Leaf. And Dreadbark, you are able to track the big feet of the Tree Lord himself relatively easily and find him and bring him back to the party. Kahzahl, you haven't met Chardew yet, have you?
No, he looks like a wooden duck.
I mean,
That is an interesting thing to say. I'm wondering whether it's profitable for us to go further into why you said it, or whether we should just pass.
No, I don't
Pass
want to waste
over.
time.
Yes, Dreadbark is very gracious and thankful to the Tree Lord. Says, we thank you for venturing into this. I know it is a dangerous place, even without the Ratman horde. I hope that it is worthwhile for you to bring this wounded sibling back into the fold.
Yeah, he kind of not like gently like it's a baby, but he kind of grabs Mottled Leaf, holds him up, and Mottled Leaf's like a chubby toddler, and then
Chubby toddler.
and then he sort of takes it in his arms, and he says, "In all my misspent seasons warring with the humans, I have never seen such cruelty."
Oof.
Take that as a compliment.
Be assured,
what about
Lord,
telling people to
we
go?
will-
I was going to say, you want to see what we did with those guards?
And then put him in a volcano.
We will find the twisted soft skins behind this, my lord. Justice will be done. By my hand at the least.
Well, we'll give it a shot at least. I can't promise.
Hey now, we will make appropriate attempts.
Yeah. Let's not make any promises we can't keep.
No, Dreadbark promises. By my hand, at least.
Well, Dreadbark, you're a courageous man. Or tree.
Tree.
Or
I'm pretty sure he's a tree. Wouldn't pay attention.
yeah. Yeah, Chardew says, I will return him to his grove, where he shall be healed. I will let the grove know that there are some amongst the city who cherish Sylvaneth life.
Dreadbark just kind of like does the necessary respects and greetings.
Nice. Okay, and then he walks off, sort of cradling the Dryad, who looks very like Chardew's calming effect has clearly helped it sort of chill out a bit. And you return back to the city.
Indeed.
And because you asked Chardew to help you, he does indeed manage to assuage the fury of what happened to Mottled Leaf with the other Sylvaneth. So your doom does reduce by 1.
There you go.
But yeah.
That ended up being neutral.
in the scales and weight of the universe and balance of the universe, yeah. Luckily.
As we're kind of getting back in through the tunnel, Dreadbark just thanks the rest of the party quite from the depths of his wooden heart.
Oh, you would have the tunnel would have, the pipe would have gone back on by now, so you'd have to go through the front gates.
Okay.
Nah,
Is that a problem?
nah, it shouldn't be.
I mean, it might be more suspicious. Sorry. Might be suspicious if, but yeah, we shall see.
Well, we can
Well, as
just
we're
send
on the way
over-
back to the gate, then Dreadbark thanks the party for taking on risk to save one of my people. It will not be forgotten, not by me, not by the Ever Queen.
Oh, Klaus, it was very nice of you to murder those people to help Dreadbark, separate to me. That seems like it's worked out very well for everyone else who was involved in that transaction.
It wasn't murder, it was manslaughter. Metal manslaughter.
So
you keep
Vargi,
up that
so,
energy when they ask you, you keep that one up.
so you're saying that you weren't involved in that, but then you're taking credit for this actually happening when you did nothing?
I'm not taking credit, I'm just saying it was a job well done. I like to see a positive transaction take place where all parties are happy in the end.
Especially you being happy.
Well, I prefer it when I'm happy, but as everyone here knows, I wasn't actually involved in this particular transaction.
Oh, of course.
Is he always like this?
Yes, but it has its advantages.
I think with the amount of questions you're asking me, I might have to start judging you for my time.
I don't recall me asking you. I asked your teammates.
Our
So now it is all about you.
Where's your sense of unity?
Well, Dreadbark actually says, gold obsessed though. What's your second name, Vargi? Good.
Norgrimsson.
Gold obsessed though Master Norgrimsson is. It is true that there is a debt now to be paid. And it will not be forgotten. To all of you.
Oh, you don't owe me anything, Dreadbark, just want to be clear about that. As I wasn't part of the...
As the woe dispose of the bodies, yeah,
transaction.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
You have your counting, Master Dwarf. I have mine.
Well, there's only really one school of counting, but, I guess we'll just have to move on, I guess.
Dreadbark says nothing of it. Like he said that, and then was just sort of continuing to walk. Wasn't a negotiation. Everything's a negotiation.
That's
Just to
the first
be
thing they
clear.
taught me in my negotiation module.
So I'm trying to argue with
I
Cass's
forget,
face.
what is Klaus? Is human, dwarf, as in
Human,
Duarte?
human mage.
Ah, okay, so we do have a human with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yada.
Okay.
Boring old human.
Mm-mm.
Someone had to do it.
Humans aren't boring.
Cool people take humans because they don't need pointy ears or
Yeah,
whatever to
Horns.
be edgelords.
yeah.
True.
You gotta accept your mediocrity to
No,
thrive.
to be honest, I think humans are my favorite race to play. I would have picked a human if I could, but this class only
I
has
disagree.
Eldar.
There's so many more interesting things to play.
So do we make it safely back to the main gate then?
Yes, you do.
No, we have
You
gone on
wanted
a
an
lot of
RP
tangents. I
session,
need to
Olly.
shut up.
Yeah, gay one.
We are playing the hell out of roles.
Was that your
Yeah.
short-term goal, Dreadbark, to reach the gates?
No.
Short-term goals.
I actually need to set a new short-term goal because
I searched for Urgold.
I don't think I'm gonna get my short-term goal for a few sessions. So
Sounds like that's a long-term goal. To
Few
me,
months, perhaps.
it's a longer. My long-term goal is. I don't think that's even gonna
Your-
happen.
Your
But
long-term
it's-
goal is short, and your short-term goal is long. I get it. Yeah.
No, my long-term goal is probably not even gonna happen, but it's there just in case it does.
Okay. It's a bold move.
become president of. The
Oh, fine. I guess I have to change it now, Alex. Thank you.
President of the Troggoths.
I like that one.
The Council of Troggoths. Cool. So, you make it back safely to the city. Job well done. Pats on the back all round. Jolly good. Don't worry, Anastasia. That's don't put those grey caps on your conscience.
What grey caps?
Exactly.
All I know is there's a slightly kind of charred bit of pavement outside the sanctuary.
Outside of her house, where she will never forget the foul deeds done in the name of that dryad. So at dawn, the day after, perhaps you're still near the walls, and you hear a great booming voice echoing from outside the city, which kind of has like a reverb effect, like an echo. And Dreadbark, you know what this is. And as you perhaps look over the walls, you see standing a couple of 100 meters from the city another tree lord.
Oh my lord!
A bit more of a intense looking tree lord.
Oof.
Whoa.
A
No,
very
that
angry
looks
looking
cool.
tree lord.
He's a boy.
And
is.
as he speaks,
Whoa!
like, you can hear hundreds of dryads echoing his words.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh, he's someone I like.
and
Are you
the
going to change your
soldiers
voice?
on the walls look quite a bit terrified. And kind of, you hear some of the officers and the sergeants just, doing like, get to the cannons and stuff and all this. And the tree lord says, the tree lord bellows. He says, "People of the stench, dwellers in the great blight, breakers of young wood, you have taken our kin, scored their bark, burned their flesh, severed their limbs, and degraded their spirit. Surrender those responsible to my justice, or I will sever your one road, and each and every one of you shall starve within your stone prison, just as Mottled Leaf did."
Do we see him, or did you just hear him speak?
I imagine you would have gone to the on top of the walls. As you were hearing the noises, so you would see him, and then after this he kind of turns and slowly like stalks back like over a mound, so you and not in the sight,
Well, I guess we have to go after him
but
then.
you can still hear the dryad echoing.
Wait, am I missing something? Why have you made him this thing?
I mean, this guy doesn't look very happy. Nothing.
Oh yeah, he's not happy, but we've saved the guy that he thinks is. Oh. Oh, he knows because. Oh. Right.
He knows.
And
Right. I just can. My brain just lit up. Sorry, it was off this whole time.
and there's
So
like a
very
lot.
much a case of no good deed goes unpunished.
There's a when he stops speaking, there's a bit of a lull around you, and then suddenly the people in the streets just start to panic, and you can hear some of them like not a few start to try and yell back like insults and shouts, and no, you and whose army, and I'd like to see you take a cannon to the face.
Of course.
That one was Vargi just there.
Fuck off, you little twiglet!
You were thinking about that one for a bit, and that's good. That was it was worth your time.
And then so there's grey caps who are on the walls. And it's a bit like that bit in Minas Tirith, Alex, when they turn to Gandalf and they say, "Will there hear him come?" And you're like, "No," but they.
Man the walls!
To the gate!
To your posts!
Yeah, they kind of turn to you and they're saying, "What does this mean? Are they finally without the one road? The city will starve."
Well, Dreadbark, might be time to call in a favor with the, other doctrine.
Vargi just turns to his party and says, "Klaus and Dreadbark, what have you done now?"
I don't know if Dreadbark has the same power of magical booming voice, to be fair.
What, you want to just shout back?
I don't know that would be a good plan, to be honest.
Well, actually,
We're very sorry we snuck out your friend and killed some guards on the way. Please don't attack. Oh.
I think Dreadbark would just kind of turn to the party and say, "It appears my mission of justice has become slightly more urgent. Either we find the perpetrators and pacify this tree lord, or there will be a second war in as many days. I'm sorry that our good deed led to this."
Well, we're in it now, so not much we can do about it. We're in it together again, right, Vargi?
Not sure that that's actually been hashed out at this time, but
Let's circle
can
back. We
Yeah,
can
put a little etheric pin in that.
just take that offline for a moment, and
I think it's a good start. So, anyway, as an
Questions, then.
independent party who's not actually been involved in any of this, I suppose we could start investigating. what to do next so that we don't all starve and die. I had much grander plans than that, you know.
Well, we don't have the Dryad anymore, so we can't exactly question him to get any information out of him, even though he doesn't really know anything. So
we got all the information out of him we were going to get.
yeah, but we
might
could
have more
use-
information. Is Gulben.
I can't believe you guys
Bloody
did all that
Gulben.
crime and then gave your evidence away. That's crazy.
Well, once again, you could have stopped us at any point.
Crazy
Well,
indeed.
little old me stopped the lot of you, all bandied together to do criminal activity.
You seem strong enough to handle yourself. I think you would have done fine.
Oh, thank you. I've been lugging around this gear a lot. It's gone right to my thighs, but still, I don't put myself in danger for nothing. I want to get paid, not murdered by my supposed comrades. While they're committing crimes.
I see only one crime that took place today. And that is the crime that we must now investigate. Or face apparent tearing apart at at the hands of this maddening crowd.
As you say
Oh,
that,
don't forget your friends.
Hey, something's happening.
a squad of grey caps head straight towards you through the crowd, roughly knocking them aside.
Vargi takes a few steps away from the party.
Yeah, I turn around and just dip.
Nice.
And the sergeant says, "You've been summoned to the Council of the Forge. You will come with us
Whose authority?
on the authority of Gulben Coldrock and the
Well, I
rest of the
suppose you mean-
council."
I suppose you mean requested, then.
What did I say?
Well, I believe you said summoned, but I don't know if you've heard this, but we literally work for Sigmar, so...
Oh, he went there.
Yeah, no, he went
wait.
there, and with good reason. We're not being not having people come and arrest us. That's not a thing.
He didn't say
He
arrest.
then chooses to soften it, and he says, "Look, he may not be the brother of gods, you know, he's got it, he's no Grunme, but he does have more authority than your council. So I'll just give you, if you just want to try that again, we'll probably be quite happy to help."
I think it's okay because a Lord Celestin on a Dracoth flies down and says, "My friends, you must aid me in this. Please attend me in the Council of the Forge. By Sigmar's will. Me."
Does
Now
that
we
actually
do
happen?
this.
You should just be grateful that we don't have to shout, "By Sigmar!" Quite so much this campaign.
No, it's just all sass all the time.
Vargi's not been very sad, he's been very amenable.
Look, everybody's got a bit of sass.
Yeah.
He just didn't like
Everybody's a
being
wisecracker.
summoned such when we're here to help, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you hadn't said anything, I would have, so. Yeah.
A timely intervention, trooper.
Lord Celestant.
We have business with the council in any case. We'll follow you back to the
Style it
back,
up.
I'm
back
not
to the,
fired, I quit.
council chambers. Lead on, little men.
It's probably my least favourite bit of role playing. It's like the guy who gets shit from the party.
Oh, all right then. Yeah.
the guy just doing his job, and he just gets the shit from the party. It's like I literally was
Well, he
told
didn't have
to
to be a
get you.
dick about it.
I was literally told to come get you.
But you could have said
Someone has to get out there.
Please come with me, please.
Cubicle 7, you could have said please.
Because always the guards say please.
All right.
All right.
I take it we are politely following the contingent of grey cats.
Well,
Well, you don't
we're
have
following
to.
it.
You could just say no, right, and just go somewhere else
Alright,
and do another
hang on.
adventure instead. That's always possible.
No, 'cause
Dreadbark
then
certainly intends to go with them and
then
speak to
we would
Gulben.
end up back
Stop.
in bloody Pathfinder. So Vargi follows politely, and
Gladly.
quietly.
Okay.
Why? Why do you do this?
Yeah, I
to me?
follow along.
So have you all been to Greywater before? You all spent time there, I guess.
I
Dreadbark
mean,
hasn't.
I have.
Dreadbark hasn't.
Kahzahl has. Klaus has. I guess the Duardin would know how it works. So, just like in Anwagard, there's a conclave, which is supposed to be the, chosen by Sigmar government body to rule the city. But in Greywater, they also have what's called the Council of the Forge, which is all of the sort of the leaders of industry in the city, all the stakeholders basically, all sort of representing the city's interests and industry and all that sort of stuff. And it's a badly kept secret. The Council of the Forge pretty much run the show because they have all the power.
This sounds like Vargi's kind of government. Like,
Yeah, meritocracy, right?
yeah,
It's run by the guilds.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. Cool. So, you head to the centre of the city, the what's it called? The Great Axle,
Mm,
and you go to the Crucible of State, which
nice.
is a very secure building. And you have to go through several layers of security to get to this big metal door, and inside you enter the chamber where there's the Council of the Forge, and you can see Gulben Coldrock in his own little dais, who bids you forward. Hand raised.
Not to be the kid in class who reminds everyone about the homework, but do we have our weapons taken off us at any point, or are we just allowed to go in here
Nerd.
so
I
armed?
suspect. Yes, you would be weaponless.
Dreadbark happily obliges.
Yeah, I was gonna say because especially you, you'd be your
I
sword.
did think it's slightly
aside.
unlikely under the circumstances that a Sylvaneth would be allowed into the chambers of state so armed.
Yeah, with a sword that's twice the size of everyone inside. Yeah.
Well, I have my pistols in my boots. No, I give everything.
Can't take magic off me, so. Got that.
Told you to take the wizard's staff.
don't you do your casting via your musket?
Focus.
Oh,
Do you have a focus that you use?
Musket staff.
Yeah, Klaus's rifle is his focus.
Oh, is that actually your focus?
Yeah.
That's
Mad.
cool.
Yeah, so you're kind of beckoned in, and Gulben kind of tells you to kind of ushers you to one side where you can sit and wait, as the council is currently discussing the situation with the Sylvaneth, and they're talking about the threat of how fragile Greywater is, that their resources can just be cut off very easily by a not very large enemy force. And there's one of the councillors, a tall, powerful, older, middle-aged woman with like battle scars. It looks like kind of an ex-soldier, and she is saying that more of Greywater's citizens should follow the examples of the Gulmere pioneers and establish bases and settlements outside of the city walls.
Is she insane or what?
Well, she's saying like with Aquagyranis, they have been able to grow some crops outside of the city, which would stop their reliance on the one road and therefore take away the power of the Sylvaneth.
Okay, Boris.
And then she finishes by saying, after all, if the Sylvaneth try anything, we can blast them to kindling. And then Gulben knocks a gabble or something and says, "Aye, it's about time we made grey." Not Scottish. What is he? Yorkshire.
It's infectious, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it?
Yorkshire.
Is that? It's about time we made Greywater truly self-sustaining. And then another councillor pipes up, sort of a plump human in sort of fancy clothes and little spectacles, and he says, "Yes, Gulben, but is this the time to go poking the hornet's nest when we have angry Sylvaneth on our doorstep? I wouldn't recommend moving out into the Gulmane." So then Gulben's like, both sides have met it.
Fine people on both sides.
Yeah. Both as bad as each other. Just have to sit on this fence forever. And then he kind of beckons. He's like, "Now we've got some special guests in the chamber today. I believe it is a party of Soulbound who have come to Greywater fastness and have saved my life against a Skaven incursion and also helped to break the Skaven siege. They have come to us today to provide information on what they know about the Sylvaneth threat that is at our door. So now, don't be shy. Come on, tell us what you know."
Great to see you again, Guildmaster. There are Sylvaneth at the door. And that is a problem.
Two very good points, yes, but two things we already knew about.
Does anyone else in the party want to be the one that
The face.
that drops some T-bombs?
What my
I
friend
feel
is
like
trying
they-
to say is...
Vargi
The
wishes not
Sylvaneth.
to incriminate himself in any way and steps back and calmly awaits the party to do something.
No, I think this should come out of a Sylvaneth, and then we'll deal with the aftermath.
Yes, that does sound like the most diplomatic way of approaching this. Absolutely. Sort of maybe nudging us towards not the Sylvaneth being the one that that does this. Maybe a non-Sylvaneth voice would be more amenable to this council to explain the evidence that we saw of crimes against mortal life taking place across the city, fighting pits of Skaven, evidence of experimentation of torture weapons on prisoners, that sort of thing.
No one else is going to pipe up.
Question just to the GM. Besides the Sylvaneth example, there were no other examples in what we found that anything other than Skaven were involved, right?
You mean the weapons testing?
Yeah, like previously it was just the fighting pits and stuff like that.
Yeah, you didn't find any evidence to point towards Sylvaneth prisoners.
No?
No one else seems to be going forward, so sure. I will.
It's Daryl the face.
What?
Daryl the face. The party member who does the speaking. Normally Mikey.
Right.
It's true, actually. Heard very little from Sichuan.
This character doesn't really have a lot to say, so it's trying to figure out
Apart
his
from
knowledge base.
Volcano.
Apart from Volcano, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much. One day we'll find his groove.
Well, right. Here's the case. We've had. It seems like the city itself has some issues with the outside, and you seem to have injured possibly someone from their side. You know anything about that? Possibly, maybe.
Interesting opening gambit.
Oh yeah, I know.
Confident thrust.
He says,
Again. It's all showmanship.
and he says, if you'll be accusing me of something, Elf, let's be hearing about it straight out your mouth. No beating around the bush.
I'm just trying to figure out
No
how much you
hammering
know about
around
what's
the
happening in
forge.
your own city. Just trying to figure out how far your gaze as a leader reaches.
Suppressing I think what my friend means to say.
Hey, you had a chance to pipe up.
No, he opted to stay quiet.
The woman who spoke earlier stands up and interrupts Gulben, and she says, well, Elf, if you're going to be rude to your superior, then let us be out with it with the truth. You and your party were spotted last night skulking around the city gates after a little excursion. We've also heard reports of a Sylvaneth in the city. And here we have yet another Sylvaneth coming back in the middle of the night, and then the next day they are incredibly angry and saying we have done something which we haven't done.
Oh, see, here's the thing. You had reports that there was a Sylvaneth in the city. You're right. There is one right here. Also, you found us outside getting back in. Yes. One of the things that I like to do in helping keep everyone here safe is scouting around the area. Guess what we were doing? Give it a shot.
Oh, that's true. That's true, yes. She titters and says, Now, you don't expect me to truly take the word of a Corsair as truth, but also, do you not find it very convenient that it just happens to be the next day the Sylvaneth are up in arms, threatening our city?
Honored
Wow.
lords and ladies, there are how many thousands of people in this city, and you think it's so suspicious that a party of noble adventurers leaving the city is the cause of a war threat? I do believe that's quite a stretch. In any case, you appear to have summoned us here. In my mind, this indicates that you have more knowledge of what's going on than we do.
And I think Gulben takes over and he says, I think what my fellow councillor is trying to say is that we have an eyewitness who is here today who has told us that he has seen you lot escorting a mysterious figure out of the city. Now, I don't know what that thing was or what that person was, but you come back without them, and now the Sylvaneth are talking about one of their own who was discovered injured and tortured. Now I can put two and two together, and you're not going to
Right,
go.
so-
You're not going to be thrown into prison for it. I just need to know the truth.
Whenever someone says that, you are going to get thrown into prison. I'm not gonna. Get off.
Take it from the dad.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not
See,
in
I'm not
trouble.
saying that-
You know, nothing's going to happen. Just tell me. Just let me know. Don't worry. Nothing's going to go wrong.
I'm not saying that there were any Sylvaneth that were escorted out, but you seem to imply that the Sylvaneth themselves got angry when you heard reports that we got someone out of the city and back into your area.
Good
So-
that Daryl is back.
Maybe if something like that did actually happen, maybe they were never supposed to be in the city in the first place.
I think I follow your line of questioning.
Basically, what I'm saying is that
And he
it's Sylvaneth
says,
got
once
angry
again,
because
if you're accusing me of something, Elf, then I believe you just come out and accuse me, and I can
I'm
discipline you appropriately.
not accusing you of anything. All I'm saying is that ever since we got here, all we did was to try to help everyone around us. So, hey, that's the thanks that we get for saving your life earlier.
Oh, it's almost like you playing a role-playing game, and you got XP for it, so it's fine.
If I might interject again, Gulden, can I call you Gulden after saving your life? Hopefully. Nobody is leveling any accusations at you, good lord. However, I do believe that you're leveling an accusation at us, and perhaps it is you who should just be out with it. What is it that you believe that we've done?
I told you. I think you've escorted, perhaps, a Sylvaneth who has ended up in the city, who have been injured by somebody in the city. You've escorted them out, taken them back to their Sylvaneth kind, and they've turned around and blamed the whole city now, and they're going to cut us off our resources.
Pray tell, Gulden, why would that be so bad? What could possibly be so bad? What could have happened to this Sylvaneth, this supposed Sylvaneth, that escorting them from the city, if that's what happened, would cause such a ruckus?
You see a twinkle in Kahzahl's eyes, and he sees Vargi actually go along with this entire thing.
I, for one, just simply cannot think of anything so dastardly. As hard as I try, and I've got a big mind, I just can't think of anything that would cause such an uproar. Please, enlighten us.
He says, I've no idea what happened to it. It could have been anyone in this city. It could have been criminals. It could have been mad cultists, for all I know. It could have been gangs having a laugh.
Right.
But what I do know is you helped it escape, and now all this trouble's come.
So we don't really seem to be getting anywhere with all this finger pointing. So what is it that needs to be done now? Let's focus on that, right?
The other counsellor, the human, the bespectacled human, says, perhaps, if I may interject, Council of Coldrock, the party before you seem to have, whether intentionally or not, caused this, had some part to play in this issue. Perhaps we could charge them with fixing it. Perhaps finding those responsible and delivering them to the Sylvaneth, which is after all what they want. And then Coldrock says, "Well, I suppose that could be a reasonable use of their time and their skills that we have seen. Very well. You lot down there, you find out who's responsible for this, so we can deliver them to the Sylvaneth."
Thanks. Now, was that so hard?
It's at this point that Dreadbark, who thus far had been seated and just staring completely impassively forward and showing as little emotion as possible, sort of doesn't stand but looks up now and says, "That is the first good idea we have heard thus far. Evidently, the Sylvaneth, my people, though I would say that we are a very broad and diverse people, and I know little of the group that stands outside your gates, it seems that these Sylvaneth believe that one of their number was brutalized by some unknown aggressor within these city walls. We will gladly take on the charge of finding these criminals and bringing them to justice for the good of both parties, and most especially to you lords and ladies, preventing the halting of supplies to and from your city, which is, I know, all of our first priority here, beyond all blame and backwards-looking discussion. And on that basis, lords and ladies, we may begin our investigation now. What can you, great leaders of this city and no doubt the most knowledgeable actors within its walls, tell us about what might have led to a Sylvaneth Dryad of unknown provenance being brutalized in such a way.
I think Gulben says, by Grogny's burning beard, I never thought I'd see the day when a Sylvaneth would be more polite in the Council of the Forge than a fellow Dwarven and a bloody elf. You, Sir Sylvaneth, are making us think you're not all the same. You do have some, have some manners, some bloody sense.
And perhaps there is joy to be found in this day after all. Well, councillors?
Too bloody right. Right, time for the pub. Off you go then. No, what was the question?
What do you know that we can use in our investigation? We are your servants, lords and ladies, in finding the wrongdoers here. How can you help us? We know nothing, it seems, of who caused the crime upon which the Sylvaneth wish to make war. Help us understand.
And he says, well, I don't know why you think that we would know any more than you do. If you happen to be in the company of the victim of all this, perhaps it was something that they said that could give you a clue to what happened to them. But perhaps you didn't talk at all.
Right, Councillor. As you know, we were not involved in anything. But we have agreed to help for the good of the city, so...
I mean, Dreadbark literally... Dreadbark literally... I think Dreadbark did just admit to the Dryad. It being a Dryad as well.
I think you'll find that he didn't admit to anything in particular.
I think you said the word Dryad.
Oh. Not deliberately. I thought that had been mentioned before, but perhaps not.
No.
Ah, well, I don't know whether Gulben would have noticed that difference. Maybe he would.
You're too good for this world. You're too honest amongst these wily foxes, Kahzahl and Vargi.
I spent 20 minutes trying to convince him we had nothing to do with it.
Dreadbark had been considering all throughout this, just standing up and being like, "Yes, we did it. It's not important." But given everyone had made such an effort to avoid that, he tried not to. But if Gulben actually has noticed that's about what Dreadbark said, then
Retcon it.
I mean, it's. I think the thing in this scenario is that it's evident that everybody knows, absolutely everybody in the room knows exactly what's happened, and there's at this point, I would expect more of an unspoken agreement that we're all just going to pretend that we don't all know, that everybody knows. So perhaps you'd be able to carry on in that sort of.
But you do have some clues from what the Dryad told you.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to ask, completely unrelated to this whole scenario, but I'm feeling a bit hungry. Is there any way that we could find some cattle, maybe? Yeah. I like to get my kills fresh.
Cook them on the volcano for you.
Weird thing to say, but I'm sure. Oh no, he's not Scottish.
Who are you? Another Northman, hey. Should have just all rolled dwarves, honestly.
So you're asking Coldrock that?
Yep.
He strokes his beard. He says, I'm willing to believe that's not just a random question you're shooting at the head counsellor of the Forge. It actually has something to do with this investigation. If you're looking for livestock in this city, you'll be hard pushed to find anywhere inside the city walls. Normally the meat is butchered and salted along the road. But you can perhaps head to the butchery shops in the hand market to find out where they come from or where their suppliers are.
I'll do just that. Thank you very much. I'll dedicate my next meal to your name.
Oh, sure, that will be very nice.
And I guess you know where we're going.
Any parting
No?
shots for the council?
Well, if none of you councillors can offer us any other suspicions, information, intelligence as to relevant criminal activities in this city that might give us leads to go on in finding the people behind this, then we know, then, lords and ladies, we beg your what's it called? Your leave. to be gone and commence our investigation.
Yes, they bid you adieu.
Cool.
I guess-
Dreadbark does a big old bow. And maybe
Clip,
leaves a few
clip,
twigs
clop.
and leaves on the floor. And
Pine needles like a Christmas tree.
just
7th of
turns
January.
and strides,
so annoying.
strides out.
I'm still finding them.
We didn't even have a Christmas tree this year. I'm still finding them.
Damn wooden floors
Ah, yes.
with their holes
Correct.
in. Right, so we can. We don't have to sort of roleplay the whole bit when you go to the butcher's shop.
I would like to also do something in this segment once we've left, or at least propose something.
Okay, you can do that.
Vargi would have some connections here through his kind of forging and shopping and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He would like to spend some time, perhaps while everyone is sauntering down to the farm or whatever, just sort of putting out the feelers to some of his contacts, like who would he talk to if he had some sort of experiment, like not as him, like, you know, I know a guy who has some sort of experimental components for any discerning customers who might be working on you know, interesting technological advances, that sort of, you know, subtle feelers, to see if he's able to sort of gather some sort of the underground way to, knowing that they are creating interesting weapons, and also that he has is still carrying in his pocket some unstable warpstone, and that perhaps he might find a lead in that way.
Forgot about that.
I think you may run the risk because every engineer would probably think that they were working on like cool weapon stuff. They'd be like, oh, that's, you know, nearly everybody would fit that description.
But perhaps the right people. But,
Yeah.
maybe if you did it in a shady, I don't know, something along those lines. I mean, and also if every engineer in the city comes to him wanting to purchase his warpstone or make use of it, that's also fine.
Oh, I see. You're looking for potential buyers. You're not. I thought you were saying about the weapon testing.
Well, no, I'm entirely doing the first one. But if by a happy accident, I hadn't actually thought about it, the second one happens, then that's an acceptable outcome as well.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
But his
Yeah.
intention is to do the first one and see if someone's like, hey, you got some shady shit we could use. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you know, if he does find a buyer, that's fine too.
Fine. Okay. So you do make your way to the sort of butchery shop run by someone called Ulda de Mercy, and this seems to be one of the largest providers of meat in the city and supplies a lot of the restaurants and bars and things. when you talk to her about potential locations of livestock, she's happy to answer your questions. And she says because of the siege, they were running desperately low on grain in the city to feed the cattle, so all of her meat has had to come from somewhere called Brinna's farm, which is outside of the city, which is the place that the councillor used as an example of somewhere that's outside of the city.
So it's just there that they're getting meat now. It's just the only place that they're able to get the cattle, basically.
Yeah, seems so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the only place where they can keep them, at least. And she says, I don't think they'd have thrived in the mere, though, poor things. Would have been better to have them slaughtered here.
Well, I think checking up on them might be for the best for everyone. Wouldn't you agree?
Are you talking to the butcher?
I'm talking to everyone in general.
Oh.
Dreadbark just nods. He's kind of in the background of this scene.
I apologize for these people here. They're a bit tired from earlier encounters. That's all the information that.
Perhaps a beef and onion roll each might do you good.
Ah, well, who are we to say no to such a kind gesture?
I was trying to think of any famous beef sandwich.
You did say beef and onion. Sounded very
pastrami. Is that beef?
Oh, I had a Reuben today.
There you go.
Pastrami is beef, yeah.
Chili cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Marinade.
Chili and Philly.
Marinade.
Philly, yeah.
Oh, I could really just go for some more pastrami. Sorry, never mind.
So yeah, you'll get a Reuben each,
Nice.
made from wood horns, which are like a kind of a shaggy, mountainous cattle.
Dreadbark graciously accepts his, and then after we leave, he'll just give it to Vargi.
I should have done the butcher's voice as a New Yorker. Damn it!
Ah,
I'm
Hey.
butchering here.
Hey, a Reuben on the house for my regulars. It's because I've been watching The Bear, so.
I watched the whole fucking thing this weekend.
Yeah, I watched it this week as well.
What is that? I haven't
It's
heard
Heard
of it.
of it. I
It's
no
a show
idea.
about he's a chef. He works in like one of the best kitchens in the world, and then he goes to run his brother's like beef sandwich shop in Chicago, and he's all in debt and stuff, and it's basically him wanting to like teach them how to cook like a French brigade and all this, but
it's absolute fucking chaos and everyone's a
yeah,
twat.
because everyone's like shouting at each other and all this. Yeah,
That's great show, highly recommend. And it made me really want some beef when I was watching it as well. I really want there to be an original beef just around the corner from me, please.
Yeah. Yeah. All right then. So I take it you all head there because no one had any strong feelings about it.
It's our one lead. So yes.
Yeah, Vargi's.
I guess we'll continue with the quest.
Okay.
The quest
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
started.
We're all
Don't
well
care
fed,
about these
energized from the
sandwiches.
sandwich.
We'll go look at some cows, I guess.
Nom, 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 nom.
I'm fine with pursuing the cow quest.
You do know why we're looking for cows, right?
To make more
Yes.
sandwiches.
Okay, I don't know. The way you said it, I thought maybe you thought I was coming up with something weird.
No, I didn't just think that you really, really wanted to pursue a side quest all about like bovine husbandry.
Yeah, this is where Gulben said the best Reubens were at. This is where we are. Come on.
He's a crafty bastard, isn't he?
Cool. So we're nearly at the end, but you trek out towards Brinna's farm, and it's not so much a farm, almost like a almost like a stockade, like a little what's the word when you got like a camp with walls around it, like a
Palisade.
yeah,
Walls.
something like that.
No.
No.
I reject that as the answer.
No!
I can't think of a better one.
No!
But I reject
well,
it.
it
A
literally-
camp with a border.
The-
It's like a...
The book says
Barrack.
Brinna's farm is more a heavily armed camp than an actual farmstead. So
I think heavily armed camp sums up more than
Yeah.
palisade.
Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. I'll go back to dictionary school.
Yeah, yeah. You keep your palisades to yourself. Man.
Yeah, I'm shit at words. I hate writing.
Well, thank God your livelihood doesn't depend on it.
he just edits. He doesn't write. It's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I wrote something.
Yay.
Hey.
I wrote something today.
Hey. So there's kind of like a boardwalk towards the main gate with kind of rice paddies outside. And you can see outside some very sad, skinny-looking cattle creatures trying to find what they can in the Gulmane swamps to eat. And you see that the around the walls of the camp there are like people on watch with rifles slung over their shoulders. And yeah, I guess we will. I mean, I'm curious to hear how you guys want to approach before next time.
Are there any animals in cages we can shoot the locks off and let the animals roam free and kill everyone for us?
Yes,
Oh.
because this adventure was written by Ubisoft,
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
so
So it's unfinished and will cost us all £150 by we're done.
yeah.
Even if there were animals in cages, I don't think it would be healthy enough to do anything, given that the cattle are starving.
Or much
Okay, that's-
better, there's a big robot animal you can hack into and make
Shit.
attack.
And one giant
Oh, yeah.
a giant farmhouse is actually 70 feet tall with climb up and
Yeah.
uncover the bottom wall.
Frankly, I think the reason why this adventure wasn't more financially successful is because the people that wrote it didn't work hard enough.
It's also why there's no female characters as well.
Yeah,
That's true, actually.
they just need to put
Come on,
in
guys.
more
They
hours.
do.
That's the